Pitchers and catchers reporting to Goodyear, Arizona reminds us that it's that time of year again. Reds baseball is just around the corner. Sports represents big business for the city of Cincinnati and many other cities out there. And the nature of that business is under transition. That is the topic of today's U.S. Bank Economic 360. Joining us now, U.S. Bank's Jim Russell and a special guest.
Thank you, Brian. This morning we're very pleased to have Bill Mulvihill, who's the Senior Vice President with U.S. Bank and heads up our professional sports group. Bill, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for making time for us today. You operate on a national business, not just a local and regional, so this is big stuff with huge scale attached to it. Now, the business of sports has been under transition for some time. Can you tell us a little bit about the moving parts, please?
Sure. I'd say the last 5 years, the biggest change we've seen in the business side of sports is really related to media and the value of the media content. I really would call this the TiVo effect. And as we all know, I think most people like to watch sports live, and it's one of the last TV content that people actually watch live, and so cable companies will pay actually a lot of money, much more than they used to be able to televise those sporting events. To put some numbers behind it, maybe 5-10 years ago, a baseball team would get say $5 million for the TV rights. Now some teams are getting upwards of $200 million. So it's really flipped the whole business model. I know Steve Watkins was on this program last week talking about that, and he's talking about a bidding war with the Cincinnati Reds, and I think you'll see that both locally and nationally. And it's flipped the model to one that's less focused on selling tickets and more focused on generating media content and the value of that content.
So every industry out there faces challenges, certainly no more than the business industry. What are some of the challenges that the sports industry has as you look forward, as we transition into maybe some new rules?
Sure. You know, I think maybe league to league, there's different individual challenges. I think about football and some of the health-related issues, concussion issues that we all read about. But if I look across the entire industry, I'd relate it to what you asked me in the first question, and that's around media. But maybe a slightly different angle. The quality of in-home viewing has improved so much with the 80-inch flat-screen TV, nice couch. And so it's getting harder and harder to get fans to the game. More fans are electing to stay at home, and it's put some pressure on actually ticket sales. And so teams are having to reinvent the in-game experience. Gone are the days where you can just sing tape going out to the ball game, or in Boston as they sing Sweet Caroline. You have to be new or different than that. And I think teams and leagues understand that and are adjusting. They're going to do some really exciting things on the technology side, in-game technology side, and I think they're going to be coming out in the next few years, and it'll really make that in-game experience special and draw those fans back.
You know, as mentioned earlier, Bill, the U.S. Bank sports franchise is a national one, coast to coast. Why would U.S. Bank choose to locate its sports franchise here in Cincinnati, and maybe what differentiates the Cincinnati U.S. Bank sports franchise from other banks, other financial providers in this business?
Right. Well, as you know, the bank's been here in Cincinnati for 150 years. We started here. We have our charter here from the Civil War era. So we do a lot of neat things here. People know our branches. Maybe they know what we do in the business and nonprofit space. But there's also some very unique segments, and sports is one of them. We started our professional sports group when Carl Lindner bought the Cincinnati Reds, and it's grown since then. It's now the second largest sports group in the country in the entire financial industry. And you say, why have we been successful? I think this maybe is a little cliche-ish, but it's the same reason that U.S. Bank is successful in other areas. You know, we have a great team. We understand the business. In sports, there's a unique tension between winning and making money. We understand that. And then we develop products and services that really meet the needs of our clients. And I think that's why we've had so much success.
Oh, great. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for clarifying and adding, shedding a little light on something just fascinating to, I think, everybody out there. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Jim.
Brian, back to you, sir.